Hey everyone, my name is Sarah Wiszniak and I'm one of the high school ambassadors for hercampus.com, and this video is about the frustrations I have, you have, we all have with the college admissions process. This was inspired by Sydney Nolan's article, which is linked below. And so, now that that is all said, let's get talking about this awesome subject that we all like so much. So let's start off with our first problem. Okay, say you're like a sophomore, because I remember this happening to me. You're a sophomore, you took the PSAT, and you're like, oh yeah, you checked the box, you gave your email. Colleges are now emailing you like 50 times a day. You're receiving mail left and right, and you're bombarded with all of your options. And come junior year, the end of junior year, you're sitting there and you're like, wow, I've accumulated a lot of mail if you've actually saved it. There's so many colleges in the United States to choose from. But your job now is to go in and search through all of those colleges. And that sounds so crazy. Like, there's over 4,000 colleges in the United States. And it's your job to pick like a certain amount of schools that you want to go to. And it is difficult, don't get me wrong. But this is where you need to make a list of things. Like, do you want a big school or a small school? Do you thrive in smaller discussion-based classes, like seminar-style classes? Or do you like the big lecture halls? Do you like knowing that there's a ton of other people around you? Do you want to go to a school that like everybody goes to the football games on Friday or Saturday or Sunday? I don't even know. Or do you not care? Do you want schools that are all women colleges or co-ed? Or you have so many options to choose from, and there are websites that'll help you with that. Well, if you haven't heard of College Board, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but College Board does save your butt a lot because it does a lot of the searching for you, because it is another search engine. It'll weed through the schools. The thing you have to keep in mind is, even if you are undecided, you don't really know what you want to do, that's okay. Pick a school maybe that has a ton of majors. Pick a school where you can design your own major. You have a lot of choices, you have a lot in front of you. You need to take advantage of that. So you really have to do your research. You have to do thorough research. And you know what, maybe you're a junior and you're just getting your list started. That's okay. The amount of times I took schools off and put schools back on my list is absolutely crazy. You have to figure out what schools you have a decent chance of getting into, what schools you have like very little chance of getting into. And you have to figure out what schools are safety schools for you, schools that you know for sure you're going to get into. So that's problem number one, and that's how you fix problem number one. Problem numero dos. It's November right now, and you don't have your teacher recommendations yet. Why? See, some parts of the college process are they rest solely on you, and this was one of your things. If you have not asked somebody to write you a letter of recommendation yet, you need to do that literally tomorrow. If your teacher has known that they've had to write you a letter of recommendation since the beginning of the school year, I'd go and ask them tomorrow where it is and why they haven't given it to you yet or submitted it to whatever yet. Because that's needed. Like, that's a crucial part of your application. This letter speaks to who you are as a person in the classroom, to who you are as a student, as a leader in the classroom. Now, you don't have to have just teacher recommendations. You can have, say, your principal write you one, or a coach, or your boss, or somebody who has observed you outside of school, who can speak to who you are and your character and all that kind of stuff, and the leader that you are outside of school. Case in point, make friends with your teachers. Get on your teacher's good side. You don't necessarily need to have an A in the class in order to have the teacher write you a letter of recommendation. Seniors, get your recommendations, like, now. Juniors, sophomores, just build a nice relationship with one of your teachers, two of your teachers, and hopefully they probably would be willing to write you a letter of recommendation come senior year. Problem number 3. You don't know what the application consists of. So this could mean anything from, like, you don't understand how the Common App works, to you don't understand what you need to give to the college you're applying to, and this is all understandable. The Common App is really long and really boring and really difficult and just annoying to fill out, and it's hard sometimes knowing what colleges need what materials from you, like an extra recommendation or a different school report or so on and so forth. The easiest way to go about doing this is to go to Google, type in, insert college names here, undergraduate application requirements. Let's take Barnard College, for example. If I were to Google Barnard College undergraduate application requirements, it would bring me to a page. It would probably say, are you applying early decision or regular decision? I'd probably click on one of those links, and that link would bring me to all the forms I need to have in by what specific dates. It is your job to memorize these dates. Now, you don't need to actually memorize them. You can put them down on a piece of paper. You can print out the checklist itself. But I'd recommend doing this for every single college. And it is your job to know this and get everything in on time, or else your application won't be considered. Problem number 4, your essay is too long. Oh my goodness, or it's not perfect, or I don't know. Your essay. Now, it might be 1,000 words rather than 500 words. It might not sound right to you. You might not like the message you're conveying. That's all right. Step away from your computer. Seriously, go do something else that'll occupy your time for a few hours, maybe even step away from it for a day. But you don't need to sit there and do it all in one setting. That's the good thing about having a certain deadline and knowing the deadline for your application, is that you know you have time and you can plan accordingly. Now, with regard to cutting down your words, you have to think about making your sentences shorter and more concise and to the point. As far as grammar is concerned, go ahead and have your English teacher read it over. But make sure, this is the one thing that always gets me, make sure that your English teacher is reading specifically for grammar errors only. He or she is not reading to correct your writing or anything like that, because you have to keep in mind that this is your essay. If you feel like you're not doing your topic justice, then like I said, just step away from it and maybe just write down all of your random thoughts about that one topic. That's what I did for my college essay, and quite frankly, I really like my college essay, but that was not my first draft, second draft, 30th draft. It was more like my 60-something draft, and I'm not over-exaggerating in the least. It was ridiculous, the amount of drafts I had of my college essay. But you know what? In the end, it was basically just different thoughts put together, and it made one coherent piece, and it all flowed, and it was weird, but it took me months to write that thing. So if you think you can just put it out in one night, you're wrong. It won't be as good as you want it to be in the end. So you really just have to space your time out and make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to complete everything. All right, problem number 5. I swear this is the last one. This one is more so about organization. Like, you don't know, you're not organized, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to go about getting organized. So first, for the juniors, the easiest way, and this is going to sound a little bit crazy, but it's not, I swear, is to go and make spreadsheets of what you're looking for in colleges, what various colleges offer, and just make spreadsheets. You don't necessarily need to say, oh, this one's a target, this one's a reach. It's nice to get those groupings down and then somehow manage to chip away at them and decide what schools are for you and what schools aren't. But really, the to-do lists and checklists are what you need at this point. To the seniors, if you're still unorganized at this point, maybe, I don't know, ask someone that you're in school with who's already applied to college, or make an appointment with your guidance counselor, something. Because this is a very stressful time for all of us, and I completely understand. And we're either going through the college admissions process right now, or we've already applied and we're playing the waiting game, which sucks, or we're celebrating acceptances and crying about rejections, and it's all going to be okay in the end. I know I've done a lot of talking, but I have to leave you with this last remark. These are the things that we have to remember right now. We are not our SAT scores, ACT scores, or GPAs. Colleges, the adcoms who are reading our applications, they don't know who we really are. It takes more than a stack of paper, our applications, to get to know a person. Rejection will hurt. You might want to cry. It's okay. We're not our stats. We're so much more. We're people. And in the end, it's going to be okay. I don't know, maybe it's just my school where every teacher decides to tell us this, but remember, it's not so much where you go to college, but it's what you do once you get there that defines your experience and that can ultimately change your life. I wish you all the best of luck. Thanks for watching.